Guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be telling you my predictions on the Chicago Cubs for the 2020 MLB season, as well as analyzing what they have done and should do this offseason. So let's get right into this. This offseason, in my opinion, is the most important offseason for the Cubs this decade because they have some really big questions, which is answers will determine the Cubs this decade for the Cubs is a great one or a bad one, which starts a 108-year-old curse. So let's start this video by analyzing their additions and subtractions this offseason. Let's start by the players they lost to free agency. They lost 11 players to free agency. Let me name them. Javier Cedeno, Cole Hamels, Ben Zobrist, Steve Cishek, Jonathan Lucroy, Brandon Kinsler, Nicholas Castellano, Pedro Strop, Derek Holden, Brandon Morrow, and Addison Russell. And get the catch, they have not signed one important free agent. The Cubs, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing, Theo Epstein? You just lost 11 players, most of them everyday players, some of them even all-stars, and you have not signed one important contract. But I'm here to save you, Chicago. I predict the Cubs are going to sign 2 bullpen arms. Those players are Daniel Hudson, who had a 2.47 ERA, 71 strikeouts, and 73 innings pitched. I'm projecting he's going to get a 2-year, $12 million contract with the Cubs. And the other player is Steve Cishek. They're going to re-sign him since he's one of the players they lost to free agency. He had a 2.95 ERA, 57 strikeouts, and 64 innings pitched. I project he's going to get a 2-year, $10 million deal. And apart from those signings, they're also going to make some trades, I predict. They're going to trade Kris Bryant to the Atlanta Braves in exchange for Ian Anderson and Kyle Wright. They're both in the top 100 in MLB pipeline minor league prospects. Both players are projected to become aces. I'm telling you, if the Cubs end up making this trade, it might solve their starting pitchers problem for the decade. It might solve that it's a trade you have to make, Chicago. So make the trade. Agree to the trade. And the other player, I think they're going to trade Willson Contreras since he's got 2 years left, and I don't think there's enough money to sign him to an extension. I think they're going to trade him to any team. Just get 2 players who are top 50 MLB prospects. And so you have some players who you know that for the next 6 years, because you've got 6 years of team control before they become free agents. You're going to have some really, really great players who you're going to have in your lineup to replace the Kris Bryant and the Willson Contreras you just lost due to trades. Then you're going to be asking, now we're tanking, now we're trading away our stars. No, I've got the replacements for Kris Bryant and Willson Contreras. The replacement for Kris Bryant will be Nico Hoerner. He's the number 47th best prospect in baseball. He's not a Kris Bryant type of player, I don't think he is, but he's a player who's going to become pretty solid, like an Addison Russell type of player. So you should be compare Nico Hoerner to Addison Russell, but without making stupid decisions like Addison Russell did. And for Willson Contreras, the replacement is Victor Caratini short term. He was the Cubs' backup catcher last year, but long term, I say their long term catcher will be Miguel Amaya. He's the number 90th best prospect in baseball, and in my opinion, he's not gonna become a Willson Contreras type of guy, but he's gonna become a catcher who you want in your lineup. You want him to be starting every game behind the plate for you, and that's why I say he's the long-term solution to the catching in Chicago. After those trades, I think the Cubs are gonna sign 2 extensions. They're gonna sign Javier Baez and Anthony Rizzo to long-term extensions, 5 years, something like that. And the reason I'm telling you to sign them now, they still have 2 years of club control. But the problem is, when a player gets too close to free agency, they refuse to sign extensions because they have a low risk of getting injured and blowing their careers and blowing a lot of money. But if you're still 2 years back, they might think about it. When they get too close, they're refusing to even think about it. They just say, I want to test the free agent market, because you wait 6 years to test the free agent market. I understand why a player would refuse to do that. That's why this year is the Cubs' chance to sign Anthony Rizzo and Javier Baez to an extension. Come on, go ahead and sign them, because they are superstars who you need in your lineup. So after analyzing what the Cubs will do this offseason, or should do this offseason, my predictions, now I'm going to tell you my predictions on their lineup based on not having Bryant, not having Wilson Contreras, and signing Daniel Hudson and Steve Cishek. So their lineup will be at shortstop, Javier Baez, third base, Nico Horner, first base, Anthony Rizzo, left field, Kyle Schwarber, right field, Jason Hayward, center field, Ian Happ, catcher, Victor Caratini, and batting eighth, David Bodie. Batting ninth is their starting pitcher. Their pitching rotation will be Yu Darvish, Jose Quintana, Kyle Hendricks, John Lester, and Tyler Chatwood. Their bullpen will be Craig Kimbrell, their closing pitcher. Their setup will be Daniel Hudson, and their other setup will be Steve Cishek. And their middle reliever will be Kyle Ryan, and the other two spots for middle relief are up to grab in Chicago. That's why I'm telling you they have to sign Daniel Hudson and Steve Cishek. Because without them, you've got Craig Kimbrell and no other actual really talented reliever. That's why you need a sign. You need to sign Daniel Hudson or Steve Cishek if you want to consider your fans to go to your stadium. Because if not, you're going to have a great outing by Yu Darvish, and then they're going to destroy the bullpen. So please sign Daniel Hudson. Please sign Steve Cishek. Please trade Kris Bryant for those starting pitchers. Please trade Wilson Contreras. Sign Javier Baez long term. Sign Anthony Rizzo long term. And if you're asking on my predictions on the Cubs, how they will end up this year, I don't think they're going to win the World Series. I'm telling you they're going to end up in the wild card, win the wild card, and lose in the NLDS against I don't know who. That's coming in another video. Thanks for watching this. And give ahead a thumbs up go ahead and subscribe, thumbs up, all those good stuff, and see you next time.